So hey everyone, so I think we have people joined here, and this first instructor live session is basically trying to understand a sense of what currently is happening, any specific queries that you would like to get answered, anything that is pressing which you have already raised in discourse and we wanted much more clarity. You can bring up those specific. It's more like a query and question session, and moreover also to have some level of expectations for the future live sessions, especially this the session which is on Wednesday. Yeah, yeah, you can please go ahead with if with any specific questions that you would like to get addressed here.
Hi, if I can start.
I see Venkateshwarlu has asked for where can I find the uploaded documents. I think these are added as a part of YouTube playlist. You should be able to see them in the YouTube.
Okay, so am I audible?
Okay, I see Deepshika raising the hand. Please go ahead with the question.
So how to approach TDS? I don't able to understand.
Sir, can you repeat that again? I missed the first part.
So how to approach TDS?
Did you ask about how to do study TDS, or I mean that's more like a generic question, but still, was that the question which you have raised? How to study TDS?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so TDS, as it explains, it's tools used in data science, and almost you have the course itself is designed to handle different aspects of day-to-day actions or day-to-day problems that you solve with respect to data and other data-related applications. So the course first introduces you to everyday tools, basically, I mean development tools, the tools that are used for development, right from right from VS Code to NPM, to all the specific ways by which you can do developmental activity, and it gives a hands-on um, um, detail of how you can utilize both the tool as well as try to solve a problem that you generally face anywhere within the professional network or somewhere to do resolve a problem in the research which you do. Then we move on to the next module, which is deployment tools. Those will provide an insight on how you can use or deploy a solution that you have developed. I think these are the two modules that they have covered so far. The best way to do TDS is to practice or do a real life example, and whatever we do as GA sessions. GA sessions are all practical way to handle the specific problem statement, be it taking a Unix log code and then finding out regex pattern, or any specific detail. All the GA questions have been set in such a way that those are something which you do by an activity, and then ensure that that activity helps you in solving a problem. Not much of a we wanted you to make sure that whatever we learnt in theory across different courses or even as a part of TDS always ties back to the way exercise ties back to implementing them in GEs. Exercise them, ensure that you know the right way. Learning theory is one section, but implementing that with tools. I mean, that's the main motive of having the tools in data science course. And the way to, coming back to the question, how to study TDS, the best thing is to take out all the examples, and then if you run down each example one by one, you will be well versed with the specific problem. The moment you start working with Excel, uh, and if you familiarize the tool, the problem solving a problem with the tool becomes easier. I think Carlton can even explain much more detail on how it helped out, or how the course can add up. But from my point of view, you should start using the tools for the right method, and also the automations which you learn here, those are some things which will basically increase your productivity in a day-to-day pattern, that you can visibly see it if we start implementing them. Carlton, anything you would like to add on top of that?
Um, yeah, just along the lines of what Prasanna said, practice is required. The sessions many students find very useful. So either attending the session so that you can ask your questions immediately and get immediate feedback, or watching them later. Oftentimes students who have been to the sessions or watched the sessions have found quite a lot of use from the sessions. So sessions will be a good place where you can really get to grips with some of the course material if you're stuck somewhere. But practice is a key part of it. You'll have to really use the tools, try out the things that are shown in the videos. It's a very practical, very hands-on type of course. In fact, that's the reason if you look at the GA, in the graded document, we have increased the value of the GAs to 15% of the course grade, because there is a lot of effort involved in actually solving the GAs. And one of the primary mechanisms of delivering course content will actually be through the GAs themselves. But there is also, for those that have asked this question, and I've seen it even in discourse sometimes, some students have not realized that if you go to the course introduction page on the portal, that's where the link to the entire course content is. So the content is not just in the GA modules on portal. It is actually, if you go to course introduction, on that very first page, there is a link. That link takes you to the actual course content for the whole term. There are some bits that are still in work in progress. That's the later weeks. We will add them as the weeks go by. But yeah, that's pretty much what Prasanna said. Mr. said. I would like to mirror the same, echo the same sentiment that he has mentioned so far.
Thanks, Carlton. Atimanas Biswal, would you like to go ahead with you were audible?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Yes.
Sir, a lot of students like me are absolutely new to this field and have no experience in using a lot of tools, like even basic Python, and starting from Visual Source Code, which was like basic question. It took me half an hour to understand what is being asked of me. So it seems the course was designed with the idea that students already had exposure to a lot of different things before coming here. But a lot of students also did not, sir. Like basic things also we have to struggle. You have to find different things. Sir, what do we do in these situations?
Yes, sir.
Understood. So I think the GA zero, the first GA which we had, I think that was more like a self-assessment, where it was clearly mentioned that if we are able to score something which is at a higher side, greater than 50%, it essentially means how the course is structured. So if you've taken GA zero, you'll be able to understand how this course is completely structured. And we also intimated everyone that as a part of the GA test itself, we clearly mentioned that if it's being tough, it's right time that you choose this at a later stage when we have better clarity with Python modules or better clarity with respective courses or electives that are related to TDS. I think GA 0 was an evaluation module for, or a self-assessment module for the entire students who are attempting for TDS. I think this is the same question which we get each and every term, and we have been very precisely mentioning that your first test should be able to uh, help you in a self-assessment, because every course that is taken, you have a timeline until the second week to drop from the course. So the idea was to give an essence of how or the skill set that is required to take up the TDS. And first thing is, if you have scored a phenomenal mark in GA0 and still see a struggle, I think that is something which we can map up with a learning curve. If you are able to score a considerable mark in GA0, it means that you have a sense of how things have to be done, and still you can have a swift learning curve, and you'll be able to catch up with all these technologies. But if you've got a very low GA score, it clearly mentions that you need to have few electives to be covered before jumping on to or before opting out to TDS. I think that's the statement which you would like to say. Apart from this, let's say if still if you think TDS is something which I've taken up, learning curve, as I see here, if for each and everything you will definitely need a start. And when it comes to, let's say, uh, uh, basic scripting, unless until we do the basic scripting, it will still be a concept that is still not learned. So on a larger scale, of course, having practiced makes you or gives a better advantage for students who already have practiced these skill sets, especially development or deployment, and then enrolling 2 years, they have a upper advantage. But someone who is starting up fresh, this content might be new, but the content which we have frozen up for this term or within the week is something which you can grasp and learn on a faster rate, depending upon the effort that has been put. I think uh, on a larger note, the statement here is GA0 was a self-assessment, so you will know where you fall under, and then it will be easy for the students to choose the right option for them. And point number two, once you have chosen TDS, I feel that the content has been set in such a way that everything is a point-to-point example. Like Carlton mentioned that the GAs are driving the entire course content. Like you have a GA question and you have a specific content that explains how the GA question can be solved. So uh, as long as you are able to get GA scores, it means that you have actually learned how to use that tool. And that's how I see it. And this course doesn't think about like checking out all pandas, like extensively jump into pandas and see all the functions within pandas. It's basically when you have a requirement, you work on that requirement and understand that requirement. This is how even in professional work or wherever you end up in a job, essentially it's the same way how you handle a specific request. We may not be an expert in a specific library or specific tool. All we need is make sure that the tool is helping out to um, uh, get the result that is required, and ensure that it is automated and scalable and deployed, so that you don't repeat the same task again and again. So that's the same way how this tools and data science also set up. We have set up things from right from solving a simple problem and making it scalable. So that's the overall points here. This was.
Sir, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
Sir, I would still like to request that the weeks that you're still working on, I would like to put in some request for making few personalized videos, like not from YouTube, videos that you teachers make. So, like, it introduces this course matter better. A lot of the YouTube videos just started talking about these things, but I did not get a clear concept of understanding. All of the different YouTube videos, moreover, confused me in the later parts.
No, I
Uh,
don't understand that. Yeah, I
Yes,
think. Yeah, I totally understand that. You'll have TA sessions which are dedicated for this learning curve. Carlton can explain in detail about the TA sessions, as well as specific course content related sessions that are scheduled almost every day or alternate days, explaining about each content right from scratch, opening it up from a file to loading the content, doing it hands on. So maybe Carlton, you can jump on and explain like how the TA sessions run and when the
yeah.
TA sessions start for the current term.
Yeah, so the sessions that we planned for this term, this is where like you will gain a lot. The sessions themselves will be very valuable for students that are struggling to get a grasp of the tools. And so that's so. For example, tomorrow there is a session. If you look in your calendar, I think it runs from 8 to 10. That will be the first real proper session where we will basically walk you through some of the tools that we are using for the first couple of weeks. And we really take the time to articulate the various aspects that you need to focus on in terms of learning. So we will, I don't want to call it hand holding, but we will explain to you what the important things are to consider when you're using the tool. And then after that, you should be able to take it up from there. So that's generally how the sessions go. With regards to everything else that Prasanna sir said, I mean, I couldn't have said it better. He articulated exactly the point of TDS, which is it's how real life things work. And we took a very considered effort to make sure that it mirrors what you will expect in the real world. See, a lot of the courses that you take in this BS degree are very theoretical, okay? But when you go into a job place, that theory will only take you so far, and you will encounter problems just like how you will see in how these GAs are structured. In fact, as you look at some of the later GAs, they will give you a kind of scenario and gives you a basis for why we are asking you this kind of question. So you get a sense of the workflow of the kinds of things you would be expected to do in a workplace. And in the beginning, most students will find this very daunting, because when they look at the content, it's like very new and very hard. If you look on the site, okay, so what I'll do is I'll share my screen really quick so I can show what I'm looking at here. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So I don't know if you have realized this, but unlike most courses, reading will be very important in this course, okay? Most people skip past this course introduction, but actually all the course content is available through this link, okay? And when you go to this link, it will take you to this site. And virtually all the content for the 7 weeks, we put it straight up front. So you know, at a glance, this is what you'll be expected to have. This will be your deliverable at the end of 12 weeks. These 7 modules is what we want you to get to grips with, okay? And then if you look at the very first bit, it will, read everything in here, because all of this is useful for you to know. So if you click on these, for example, it gives you the basis of why we are doing what we are doing. So it gives you a sense of grounds you in the expectation of TDS, okay? So I really recommend you take the time, read through this. And as Prasanna sir was saying, I mean, you mentioned GA0, it's actually GA1. So GA1 is the graded assignment that checks if you're ready for this course, okay? And it explains to you the rationale behind. So I know some of you said, we don't have exposure, etc., etc. And I think this is a fantastic explanation for why we have taken this approach, okay? Because in the real world, this is what is going to happen. So for example, you might have taken only the diploma in data science, and that is something the program provides, yes. And TDS is part of the data science part of it. But this paragraph, I think, encapsulates the reasoning very well, why TDS is the way it's been structured the way it is. And most students, okay, in the beginning, they find it very challenging, but at the end of it, if you ask anyone who has graduated out of the TDS module, they will tell you this is the one subject in the diploma that has really helped them to become job ready. And that's the sentiment echoed by many students that have taken this particular subject. So we really believe we are delivering something very valuable for your learning, and it will really help you in your professional career. And then we encourage learning by sharing. This is something unique in that sense to TDS. There isn't something like copying and is bad or something. But one thing I will say about, so I'll put it with a slight caveat. Okay, we don't care if you copy your answers from somewhere else or anything like that. But when I think about it from a pedagogy point of view, okay, or to use a simple word, and I think about it from a learning point of view, sure, you can copy things and you will get a grade and you will move on from here. But you're robbing yourself of the learning. So if you rob yourself of the learning, then you will pay the price somewhere else for it. So for example, at an interview, you'll pay the price, or at a job, you will pay the price. So instead, why not do it here when you are able to practice and you're in an environment where you can be supported? And we've got a fantastic team in TDS, and they're willing to support you, willing to help you learn. Make use of that. Struggle with it. When you struggle with something, that's when you learn the best. And again, students who have gone through that process, who have gone through that trial by fire, as it were, okay, trial by tedious fire, they really come out of it um, stronger for it. They begin to appreciate what they have achieved through it. You know, it's something that you have achieved, something you can internalize and take with you further. So that's the value in struggling through it. And again, like I said, it's reflected in the increased value of the graded assignments. We have decreased the value of the final end term, because the final end term doesn't it's very hard to test a practical course like TDS with a theory based questions, right? So we have reduced the weight of that, and as you can see, most of the weight is going to come in the very practical part of the course. And so that's what this is. And if you look through the graded assignments, so on here, you know, you'll see the graded assignments. Again, this really encapsulates what we are trying to deliver. You know, the questions themselves are the primary mechanism through which the content is delivered. But if you want to learn it better, then you can of course go through these things one by one, and much of it is explained in the same way in the GAs as well. But maybe on the site it's a little more better structured for you to understand what the expectations are, and the GAs themselves then deliver your learning, as it were. Okay, does that help at least in some way for you to get a sense of what is expected?
One thing, if Carlton, this is like Anand here, if I can speak in between.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was telling is, for example, last time also I took along with MLP, but then I dropped after having consultation with you. So I started preparing, started to go through CSS and JavaScript thing. So a little bit I got to know like the basic things. But when I checked here about the course content, there are a few of the compiler things. The one UV, which helps in to eliminate the pip completely, and helps packaging the software which is there. So yeah, UV. But I exactly don't know how we are using it and where we should be using it. So knitting them together and then applying them to do something, that's something we are like I'm not aware of. So
Yeah, sure.
only programmers who are there, because me professionally, I am from like analytics background where I do completely everything on tools. Like I day to day, I don't like work on these things.
Right. So yeah, so these things we will actually in the sessions cover these. So if you're having trouble getting to grips with UV, I mean, even for us this was quite new. But what we found? But I mean, speaking specifically about UV, the beauty of this is it eliminates the needs for having a virtual environment, and it eliminates the need for pip installing dependencies. Eliminates a lot of the sort of things that generally you have to put together in order to run a script. So it's actually saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of heartache when you're deploying something, deploying a package. So UV is a really fantastic tool actually. But we will, even if you're finding it a bit difficult at the beginning, we will in fact tomorrow be covering the basics of how to use this. And once you get to understand how it's used, right, you will never go back to the previous way of doing things. And because it will just make you so much faster and more productive than ever before.
So one more thing is there. For example, bash terminal is there. So uh, previously, while like in some part of my career journey, we used to use Postman for sending up HTML requests. So now, like the tool is something which is changing every time, and now I'm not able to relate one thing to the other, how each of them are related to each other. So it uh, what do you call, a quick refresher will be good for us if that works. Like how each one of these things are related to each other, like because reading them as a separate part won't like doesn't give a clear picture. So,
Yeah, we can address some of these things in the upcoming sessions. So, I mean, today is just an overview of what the course expectations are and general doubts today. But as I think the proper course content delivery will probably start from tomorrow, I would say. So we will touch upon these things. You know, you say you're talking about Bash and some of the scripts. What's the use of them, and how do they work? Come into your workflow. So a good example that I can think of, okay, is I was quite so when I was trying to open up, I think just last term or the term before, I was trying to open up a large file on one of the tools, and it was taking a lot of resources. It was slow and all these sort of issues. But some of these things, right, which normally you would open up in pandas or in a notebook or something, you might think, okay, this is the easiest way to do it, but they may not work so well for humongous data sets. And that's where things that you do in Bash, they may be simple things, okay, uh, they suddenly really come shining to the fore when it comes to dealing with millions of lines or millions of lines of data. And they do it so extraordinarily fast, and with such simple commands. Your mind just gets blown away, and you think, someone who's so for example, you're talking about data analytics, right? So imagine you have a colleague who comes in, he knows the Bash and can do the same thing you used to do in a notebook, and he comes along and is able to just write effectively 3-4 lines of maybe not even that, maybe 2 lines of code, and achieves the same thing that you're able to do in a big notebook that doesn't handle large files well, right? So that's a useful skill, to have in the workplace. So we will show you some of those tricks and tips and things like that, and show you how you can use it in a workflow. So that's something we will touch upon in future sessions, right? So when we are going through the tools one by one, we will definitely help you and um, introduce you to some of those things that you can use. And they won't be very difficult, okay? They're not so challenging. It's just a matter of knowing versus not knowing. If you didn't know it, you can't use it. So tools for data science is basically getting you in touch with current industry, what practices are, because that's what Anand is very much in touch with, right? So he looks at what's in the ecosystem, and then he makes that available to us. That's why tools for data science very cutting edge usually, and changes from term to term. And that's the reason for the dramatic. I mean, as you've seen last term, the content would have looked different, and now suddenly it's again different. It's because we try to keep it very current, very cutting edge. So when you get out there, you're well equipped to deal with new things that you'll face out there.
Yeah,
So may I
maybe
ask something?
yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
Actually, I'm not from the science background or any background from where I know programming or much about computer applications. So going through these stuff makes it quite difficult for me. I can't just understand what I have to do, and submitting the graded assignments from this part becomes very tedious as a part from tools for data science. So what I can do from my end?
Just to add in the question, if I have the permission to do so.
No, sir.
Yeah, carry on. What's the question?
Just to add on to the question, I had taken a TDS 2 terms back, and now when I'm left only with TDS in the diploma in data science course, I still haven't got any extra skill that wasn't present 2 terms back. So how should I go about this? And I plan on just completing data science and leaving the course. And before, I have only done Python. and in the remaining 2 terms that I had time, I went through HTML. So kindly guide on how to go about the course.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of change from 2 terms ago. Lot of the things now we are looking at will involve, for example, the idea of deployability. When you created an application, um, some data science application, some kind of deliverable that you're trying to get across to your clients, um, how to do that deployment, right? So that it's quickly available to your clients. They can interact with your models and produce something that enables them to make decisions based on what you've designed. So that deployability and using the tools that help get your data from where it's sitting to your clients, that's part of the workflow. And the next part of it is how we deal with some extraordinary tools, for example, GPT, to do some things that traditionally was either used to be very cumbersome to do using programming, whereas now you can achieve those same nearly, or maybe even better results using the power of a GPT, and how to integrate that GPT into your workflow. So making your programs intelligent, adaptable, self-correcting, all these sorts of aspects of it, we will be showing in the course. One thing that I'm getting the sense of in this session, which is good always in the first session to get a sense of, is there are varying skill levels, okay, in this course. So some will have very um, low code skills, and some will have reasonably okay skills, and some will have very strong coding skills. So I think maybe we will have to think of, I mean, we haven't yet thought of this a way to do it, but maybe there might be an opportunity to, for example, schedule certain sessions to deal with very basic sorts of things, and then we can have other sessions that deal with more intermediate level or advanced level understanding of the tools. So maybe that's something we can sit and discuss as a team and see how we can approach that.
Exactly. Exactly, sir. You're thinking right, and this was the same case 2 terms back as well. Now, when you have different level of skill sets, for us who are very new to programming, comprehending so many tools in the first week and giving the graded assignment, and the help will be provided only after the assignment is submitted, is something very daunting for us. Like
Yeah. Okay.
like the deadline is 26, and the last term also, the 2 terms back also, it happened. The discussion on the question of the GA started only after 26, and no help was provided before that.
Mhm.
So, are we expecting the same scenario again?
So we will solve the GAs only after the GA is ended. But maybe what we can do is we can at least introduce you to how to use the tools before that. So that way, at least you'll get an opportunity to learn how to use the tools in order to solve the GAs. That's something we can definitely try and achieve for this term.
Yes, definitely. So that would be very helpful for us, because only this course is something that is stopping us from completing a diploma and taking and going back home. Because
Mhm.
other courses are done, only TDS personally is left, and I don't have an option to drop this. I had the
Right.
option 2 terms back, so I dropped it. But now when I just need to complete this and
Yeah.
complete my MBA
Yeah,
and then leave.
I think part of the issue was it's this course was never meant to be sort of an intro to programming type of course. Okay, so that's why there was not a lot of significant support to learn very basic things. So there was always this approach to this course, but I'll have a word with the professor and speak with the rest of the team and see what we what can be done. I'll speak with the operations as well, and get a sense for what we should do going forward, because clearly there's a wide skill gap and skill difference in levels, and how we can best cater to everyone is something we have to think about. Because normally these skills that you're talking about, right, most students will get that from doing the programming diploma part of the BS degree. So those who go through that process, they will be able to handle most of this fairly easily. It's the ones that, for example, like yourself, who are only doing the data science part of the diploma, that will find it a challenge. So I understand the challenge, but we'll need to sit together with the rest of the team and get some, because we cannot unilaterally kind of decide how to do that, right? So we'll get a sense from them, how do we go about it, and how perhaps we can best help you in the journey. Okay. We will try our best, that I will promise you.
Yes,
um,
sir. This was the same issue 6 months back, and for our term, when we just have to complete the course and leave, I think it's better to have an optimistic solution of having support sessions rather than going and discussing it with the operations and other teams, because that will take a lot of time and we cannot wait till then. So if you can commit to having support sessions for each tool for us, for the new ones, that would be really great.
okay, we will, let me get back on to you on that. Okay, but we will take what you have said into consideration. We'll try and see if we can schedule separate sessions for those who are struggling with the programming part of it, or getting to don't have the required skill levels in order to do this particular subject. Okay, but I cannot make a direct call on that right now in this session. Okay, I can't make that commitment straight away, but we'll discuss this internally first and see what we can do. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening. So actually, I'm telling that not only me, there are many friends of mine, and including me also. Suppose there are many questions in graded assignment one in the Linux system. Okay, so in my system or in many students also, the Linux system is not supporting. Okay, so it would be better to first introduce the installment of the system so that we can deploy all the codes. So it would be very much better for us. And in graded assignment 2 also, I've seen that some of the questions are from llama file, so that is totally from the machine learning section. So I'd recommend first to install the system for the requirements so that we can easily deploy our requirements. So will there be any session regarding this deployment of the system or anything that like that?
I'll make a note of it, and
Yes.
I'll discuss it with the TAs, and we'll see if we can schedule some
Yes, sir.
sessions to just
Because installing the system is
system set
too
up.
much. Yes, yes, because installing the system at first is too much difficult for many students, including me also. So it will be very much better so that we can deploy our questions smoothly if we can install the system.
Okay, I've made a note of that, so
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
we'll make an announcement about the sessions themselves and what they will cover, so that will give you an idea of which
Yes, sir.
sessions are worth attending, or and also they will be uploaded as well. So we'll put a description. That's something else we will try and do this term, which is new. We will try and bookmark the sessions to have chapters in them. So say, for example, you're looking for how to install WSL on a system. Okay, just as
Yes,
an
yes, like
example.
that only. So,
Then
sir,
there
one
will
more
be,
question also.
right.
Yes,
So there will
that
be a video with the chapter that
hmm,
will say, okay, this is the section which deals with that. Then there will be another section which you can just jump. So if some of you are probably already familiar with WSL, then you can just skip that part, go to the next part that, say, for example, deals with, okay, how do you install Node package manager, or you can skip that part
yeah.
if you know how to do that. So we will try and do that this term. That's one new thing we're going to try and do. Okay.
Okay, so sir, one more question also that I have seen the previous year questions for the end term. So in end term basis, in end term, there are mainly the theory based question. Okay, so in GS, we are actually facing the practical based questions. So regarding to the theories question, from where you can learn the theories question so that we can easily answer in the exam for end term.
Okay. So one thing I will say about the end term, it's likely to be completely different this time around. Okay.
Okay.
We are overhauling the way end terms are done. So I can't really tell you at this point that okay, you read study the end terms and it will be similar. I really cannot promise you that.
Okay.
What I can say is there's going to be some major changes to the way end term is being
Okay, so sir,
considered.
according to that change, if you provide us the resources that we should study or prepare for like that only, so it would be better for us.
We will try and provide you maybe a mock before the end term, but
Yeah,
apart
that
from
would be
that,
better. Yes.
yeah. But apart from that, just be familiar with the tools and how they work. That's going to be your
Yeah,
best
yeah.
bet.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Just to add one point with Carlton mentioned, so with respect to Unix bash command, it necessarily doesn't mean that you have to install the entire system. There could be other ways to also have or resolve the issue where Google Colab, the CPU runtime, which is hosted, that basically is a Unix system. And there are different ways by which the available free sources, you may not need to essentially remodel the entire system which you have, or entire or the infrastructure which you have, being a personal laptop or some sort of PC which you have. I don't think it requires a complete remodel. It's all about how we can effectively use the free online resources, as well as make effective use of how the bash commands can be tested both in collab as well as with other open sources. I think we'll take that as a part, and then in one of the TA sessions, we'll include that how we can test these bash commands using a specific collab setup. And in, if setting up WSL within a Windows system or using Mac, which has homebrew, those are something which can go as an add-on details. But what I try to mention is it necessarily doesn't mean that you have to install altogether a new system to study this course. This course can be learned and be experimented using the existing open source tools.
Sir, may I proceed? I'm next in line.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, dear instructors. I would firstly like to express my appreciation for the learning by doing approach of this course. It's quite real world focus. But just for clarity, I have a two-tiered question, and I'll apologize if it is too much related to the questions already asked. It is like administrative in nature. The first doubt or a query which I have is that given that this course was mentioned as having no prerequisites, but it says that you need to have a certain level of programming skills. I was only wondering that since in diploma level we have completed our foundation level, so the computational thinking and intro to Python programming courses, are any other programming skills mandatory for this course, or apart from these two prerequisites, everything as you mentioned can be picked up smoothly or not so smoothly in that learning curve? And apart from that, just to make sure, like, this course is at least passable in theory at least, so for the non-extensive programming background students, for all the GAs projects and the ROE and the end term, will the content introduced throughout the course or through the TA sessions be sufficient, or it would be something like which is the spirit of this course, tinker by yourself, learn by yourself? So I just want to make sure what approach is to be followed. So those are my two questions. Thank you.
Prasanna, you want to answer that?
Yeah, going back on the prerequisites, I think we had a list of discussions with the ops team, especially on prerequisites. But and while taking the course, like what we just showed, the GA1 was the perfect self-assessment test. So to answer the question, if the GA1 basically you were able to score that in a with a phenomenal score, like something which is significant, then obviously you should be able to grasp and the learning curve could be easier. Whereas if the GA scores are GA1 score is low, it means that an additional effort has to be put, because some of the basic things which we consider as a part of the day-to-day activities in TDS, I think that's something which you may have to start learning up. So the learning curve will be little uh, uh, more effort has to be put up from the student's perspective. I think GA1 will be a right assessment to go ahead taking up this course, as well as trying to understand the effort that is required to gain the skill set. Was I able to answer that clearly?
Yes, sir. Somehow.
Yeah.
Sir,
So
may I?
prerequisites, coming back, I think this we are still working on, because tools in data science generally covers multiple sets, and we may not precisely define that it requires a coding background, or it's more like how proficient you are with specific tools. It doesn't cover one single tool. So if you can see the list here, the deployment tools and development tools, we couldn't confine with a specific scenario where you have to expert with specific tools or specific scripting, so that you are able to take up this course. If this is something still we are working out, but on a larger note, to be clear for a student in terms of understanding whether this course has any prerequisites, we have explicitly mentioned that as a GA1 score. If that will give a clear metric of how we can handle, how this course content would be, and what the skill set we are expecting from the students over there.
So, but to complete the GA1, does the learning resources that we have on dashboard, is it enough, or do we need to also practice it from outside?
To come so to again to get that, so for completing GA1, if you are able to work through the specific content that is shared, that should be self-explanatory. You should be able to solve out the problems using the content material. So it doesn't require any additional set of knowledge that is required to solve the problems with GA1.
So, like, I try to solve the problems, I'm getting stuck in like few of the scripting, like in question two. So, are we gonna like discuss few of the things on it, like not the answers, but like the discussion on the top?
Yes, we will. In the sessions, we will discuss how to use the tools and how to, use them effectively so that you can solve the problems.
Okay.
Sir, can I take my turn, please?
Yes, please.
Sir, I am Bhaskar, and thanks for this opportunity to speak with you, sir. And my expression is completely in a different dimension to the expression that I am given by the earlier people. I started with a great enthusiasm to this course, and I have also attended Anand's first introduction to the course, as well as an instructor kind of thing. It's so amazing and amusing also, as usual. So I'm intrigued with this character and all like that, sir. That is point number one. Point number two, some time back, our stats sir means uh, the other lecturer who handles stats, sir, he conceptualized about the open book system kind of thing, sir. Means some exams will be there in this course, wherein open book system would be applied to that one. And when I have seen this course curriculum on my own in the before last term kind of thing, when the videos are there uploaded in the YouTube kind of thing, I felt it like a kind of thing, sir. Why? Because that one is by that time I'm doing my MLP program, and we are struggling with doing a single model with some data set. But in your course, actually, that data set has been, modeled automatically in the set resources like Python with this collab itself, with a couple of commands, all the all the possible models all the possible models that have been taught to us, or 50% of the models which have been taught to us, are automatically given the output kind of thing. The comparison statement has been given. I got to be mind-boggling. I thought, why I am studying this ML for 3 terms actually. That is MLT, MLF, and MLP. All these ones went to a wave kind of thing in my mind with that particular video itself. That is my first experience with this course curriculum, sir. And eventually, to help some of my friends in the earlier term with the tedious kind of thing in the project itself, I have gone through run through. I can say run through all the videos or relevant videos that are required kind of thing. Uh, that is truly actually a wow kind of thing from my side to understand for the presentation point of view. The ultimate purpose of this particular course is nothing but presentation. That is there in the last 2 weeks kind of thing, sir. That presentation will be too good according to the imagination that one would be having in their minds kind of thing. Let us say in the case of MLP, what I'm talking about earlier, that there'll be small databases will be there and a large databases will be also there. So there are some other models we need to try and test with the large models also. For that one, as you are telling, I have not tried, but the bash command, if it can run like that and within seconds, if you are able to get the result with a with effortless kind of thing, that's truly a great thing, sir. Apart from that, in the zero kind of thing, what I am shared with kind of thing, that 1 mark challenge intrigued me, and I said wow kind of thing for the course again. Why? Because it is asking me to be a prompt engineer immediately now itself. Means whatever knowledge I'm having right now with me, that is forcing me to be a prompt engineer immediately, which is a very good skill that can feed me even in the US market or Indian market kind of thing right now. And apart from that, maybe I request you as a course instructor kind of thing. I request you not to compromise on the content that you wanted to deliver for this one, sir, for this term at least. I mean to say, some couple of hours back, I've gone through the MIT for deep learning kind of thing. That man who is running the course from the past 4 years is telling that the last year, 8 months back, the video is there, sir. The AI is evolving like anything. So it is a fast paced, obviously. So up to what extent we are able to catch up, it is the skill or there what we need to learn in this steep curve of learning. I mean to say, even though if we are able to get something like 10% or 20% or 30% or pass percentage, let's say 40% is enough to be in the market as a rising star, I can say. That is my feeling right now, sir. And as usual, the other students asked for a supportive information to be given to us beforehand or along with this one. That is a right point, sir. I do agree to that one. We can use that Google space kind of thing to update the extra information, whatever it might be. Maybe BDM project people are also doing the same kind of things, sir. That could be one of the resource wherein we can always refer whenever we are free kind of thing, and whenever we are stuck with the. I mean to say, I know that this is nothing but a open book system of evaluation. That's why even the end term is only 20% marks have been given to this one. And as to the total concept or the pedagogy, what the instructors also tried to mention that one, sir. That could be a new thing for us or for the whole system of 10, 15 years of learning, what the other people might be gone through. So that might be daunting. Other than that one, this course I feel like this is amusing and entertaining as usual. As Anand sir, I believe, sir.
Thanks for the feedback. I think you have like, got the grasp of why we wanted to have this session, and this. So whatever Wanguli has mentioned is exactly what we have put up. The reason why we have to have tools in data science, why you should learn, and why it is the right time you should learn. So I think that makes it all. Yeah, thanks. Uh, I have a hard stop at 10, so maybe we can run down through one more question, and I can set up my email ID here. You can use Discourse as well as any forums for additional questions. Anything apart from 10, I have a very hard stop this time. Maybe for next sessions, I'll plan little extending the session to 1.5 hours so that we can cover up all the queries. Maybe we'll take one or two questions from here. Yeah.
So
Sir,
shall I do?
can I just ask a question?
Sir, sir, I just
Pratik.
wanted to ask the question about ROE examinations. Sir, can we get any question paper or PYQ type of thing
Yeah,
for
so
that?
we are working on the previous term question papers. Those will give you a sense of how the ROE looks. That doesn't essentially mean that's the ROE. ROE is basically a fire drill kind of examination where you can collaborate, you can work with groups, but essentially the data set you have to work upon a different data set for every term, and the range of questions will be based on the data set that is being selected. I think for ROE sessions we'll be keeping on we'll keep on a discussion group, and we'll explain you how ROE works out, and also we are working on releasing the previous set of questions, both ROE and term and few other sets, which we are thinking that it will help everyone to understand what were the previous ROEs. We are working on that. We'll keep you updated on this course.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, sir. And
I
sir,
don't
one more
want
doubt, small doubt only. Sir, while doing the GA one, I solved every question, only one question left. But and also I saved it, but now when I open it, it shows zero score. So is this a glitch of the website or something else? Till yesterday, it was showing 9.5 marks, and from today it's showing 0 marks. So I have to do every question again, sir.
One quick
Kindly look at it once.
Carlton, we did discuss about this little earlier, right? So, right now you should be able to have saved sessions. If not, can you raise it up as a discourse query? We'll keep you updated on that.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, so
Thank
yeah,
you, sir.
we had discussed this technical issue. So your answers are saved, okay? That's one thing I can guarantee you. Whatever you submitted have been saved. The only caveat I would put to that is, let's say, for example, you answered 15 out of the 16 questions, okay? And today you decided to answer the 16th question. My advice is refill all the answers of the first 15 questions, and also then put in your 16 questions and then say save, because otherwise you may have run the risk of not having any answers for the first 50 and only having an answer for the 16th question. But having said that, we are working on the back end to try and make sure that it's a work in progress, where we are trying to get the answers fetched from the back end and populated onto your actual site, okay, on your browser.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, I don't want to take much
Yeah,
time. I
Pratik.
just want
Yeah.
to know one thing. So we've got graded assignment for submission, and then
Mhm.
end term exam, quiz one and quiz two. What is this ROE and the other things we have for grading? Since it's new to us, I've just taken up this course after my foundation, and it's also new. So I just want to
Yeah.
know what are things I have to focus for grading.
Yeah, the projects are take-home project, which means that you will have a specific requirement to complete a project, and it will be open in the portal. From you can see the dates here from 17 Jan to 15 Feb. You can see that it will be open, which
All
means
right,
it's a
sir.
take-home project. You will have a data set, and you will have a set of questions on top of it, and you will have scenarios and scenario-based questions. So it's a take-home project, which means that it will be handed over to you, and you can work around the optimized solutions, and then write back the answers in the same portal. So that's how the projects work. Project one and project two are take home open internet. It
All right,
doesn't
sir.
and when it comes to ROE is remote online exam. It's an online open internet MCQ, which means that we have like a 45-minute or 1 hour session. It depends upon the data set which we are filtering out for the remote online. And here, to ensure collaboration, so we are trying to recreate the same scenario what you would experience in a specific professional career. It's not that everyone has to work in solving a problem. It's all about collaboration and ensuring that you are able to achieve your deadlines. So here we open up a discourse channel, we open up a Gmeet link, and we make sure that everyone can collaborate and then work around. And it will be a set of it depends upon the data set. So to be clear, it will be a short exam which is 45 minutes, and within 45 minutes you'll be given a set of questions that needs to be solved, where you can collaborate across different platforms, right from Discourse to WhatsApp to all set of platforms.
Okay, sir. So the discourse link and all will be sent later on, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So the remote online is scheduled on 2nd March. As we
Okay.
move on to remote online exam, one of the sessions we will cover out how the previous remote ROEs were conducted, what were
Okay.
the scenarios that were felt, scenarios that were used earlier, and then we also will walk you through how give you instructions on how the current terms ROE will be.
Okay, sir.
I think I can
Sir,
take
Sir, what
one.
is take
Yes.
home open internet like project?
Mhm. Yes, so projects are basically, again, so one of the things is projects 1 and 2 will be based out of data set. Either you have to web scrape the data set from a particular portal, and then have a set of questions based on that the data that you have scraped. It can be a data that you fetch from API and then get it out. So it's not something, I would say the problem statement is not something defined. It depends upon the data set that you have. So but the crux of, or the structure of the project will basically be a data set or multiple data sets, and following set of questions based on the data set. You would definitely need to use the tools that you have learned to extract the data, transform the data, and then do any kind of evaluation or any kind of calculations on top of data to arrive at the final answer.
Okay,
sir,
sir.
sorry for interrupting. Sir,
Mhm.
I just had one more question about the take-home projects.
Mhm.
Sir, can you tell us the weeks which are related to the specific take-home projects? Like for project one, which weeks will have the content that we need to know about?
Yeah, basically it yeah, go ahead, Karlan. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so the projects will cover most of the things that would have been done in the prior weeks. Okay, so for example, project one, if you look at the date 17th, so it will typically cover everything you've done up till probably LLMs, and most likely include some data sourcing. So those are the kind of things that will probably be tested in project one. And the other thing to remember is, you've got a long time. We have deliberately given you a long time to try and solve it. I mean, it's generally it used to be only 10 days, okay, but you're getting virtually an entire month to try and solve project one. But take that as a serious indication of the kind of level of effort you will have to put into project. Okay, you'll have to really think about how you solve. They will be very interesting. I can promise you these projects will be quite fascinating to work on, and it will give you a real glimpse into some of the amazing things that that's possible nowadays. And none of you are CS degree majors, or most of you aren't CS degree majors, but the things you will be doing in this project will be so fantastic. It'll just blow your mind, and you'll think, wow, when you achieve that and you do that, you'll think, I've done something that is truly valuable. So take it seriously, and it will, like I said, it will cover mostly the first 4 or 5 modules when you're doing project one. And project two will most likely cover a much wider range of things because it comes much later in the course.
Sir, I have a question. Uh, so I tried the GA and I have some half big idea about all these tools. I was able to resolve it, but it doesn't mean I have a great understanding of all this. Somehow I manage it. So, what would be your advice to me? Should I continue or should I drop the course system?
If you have managed it, then that's great, because this is not meant to make you a professional in any of these tools. It is meant to introduce you to the tools, and then where you take it from there is totally up to each individual. So if you managed it, that's really good, because really that's all anyone is asking you to do, is to get to the answers, solve the things that are required. It means you've got at least a fundamental understanding of how to get started with it, and then where you take it and how you use it in the future is completely down to you and where you use it and deploy it.
Also, I'm a direct to diploma DS student, right? So, how is this course like? Is it more inclined towards programming or is it more inclined towards DS? What should be
Yeah.
our expectation from this course after we complete?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely programming heavy, and uh, with what you can expect at the end of it is you'll have some skills with some certain tools. You'll have exposure to the tools that are required in order to be able to do your data science projects effectively and produce something of value for your either for your employers or in your business or any other place where you deploy data science answers for any projects that you do.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. I'm also
Let me complete,
direct
Abhimanyu.
entry.
Just a
Sorry,
minute. I'll
sorry.
just complete.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there are multiple tools and these tools are changing, ever changing. So there should be some kind of a basic tool that is pretty much standard throughout a longer period of time. So what should we be focusing more on, and which tools will be like standard so that we can have better understanding of those?
That's that's a good question. As far as standard tools, you Bash has been around since the 70s, right? So I mean, I don't quite know how to answer that question. But again, there are going to be experts in using the Bash terminal. There are going to be experts in using databases who have a specialized job just dealing with databases. There are going to be people that are experts at various of these very old tools, but they're still currently used. Um, so I mean that's a very sort of, I think the way you can answer that question is maybe just look up on Reddit or something, and you will get a sense of what tools have been around for donkey years and what are fairly new. I mean the main new things are like using LLMs, using GPTs to extract structured data from unstructured data. That's a really powerful thing that could not be done in the past very easily. So that's something. If I were you today, getting ready for the market that's out there, I would focus on developing your skills in this new field, okay? Because there will be a lot of people who know these old things, okay? And they're not it's not that they're not useful, they are useful. That's why we're sharing how to use them, or at least have the basic understanding to use them so you can do useful work with it. But I think being focused on new and upcoming things that is the future would serve you quite well. Whereas you can always get some certification for some of the other things like Linux or databases and things of that sort. Though there are specific certifications for those if you want to go down that route. But that's not the focus of this course. The focus of this course is to introduce you to the tools and then teach you some very useful new things that are being used at the moment to keep you current with the industry.
So just adding on to your point, so what if we want to learn these tools deeper? Because I'm a direct entry diploma in data science student, and these are comparatively very new tools for me. So what if we want to learn the basics and then take a deeper dive into these tools?
Yeah, so it's something what all of us do. I mean, I learned most of these tools by just using them more and more frequently in whatever workflows I have. It's the same for any of the TAs who have done this. This is the same for all of us. If we find something interesting, then we just take and run with it. So I'll give you one example. There was a student, not this term, not last term, but the term before, and he was so inspired by one of the videos that was shown, and it was not even a graded learning objective. Okay, it was using Excel to make this 3D flyby of Starbucks coffee shops versus McDonald's coffee shops. Okay, first of all, it used tools that you had to pay for, so we didn't test people on it, but we showcased it. Okay, what was possible. he was so blown away by that capability that and inspired by it that he decided to create his own flyby and use it for expressing Domino's versus Pizza Hut in Bangalore. Okay, and he used that to showcase it to his employer, and they were quite impressed by the project that he had deployed. So that's an example of someone who we introduced to the tool. We didn't even teach it really, and he just took what was shown, what was and explained, and then because he had an interest in it, he took and ran with it. So that's all it is, right? Whatever is on here, if you find something that really helps you in your workflow and you think, hey, if I learn this tool, this can really help me with this. So, if it's something as simple as Markdown, right? You once you start learning Markdown, you think, hey, this is actually good for doing documentation and things of that sort. You may begin to use a tool, for example, like I think it's Obsidian, which is done in Markdown. And, it's great for organizing your documents, organizing your notes. And if you know how to use Markdown well, then it improves your efficiency across so many domains, right? So it just depends on how you use the tool in your workflow. And when you find something useful, then you can just get deeper into it. It's something that comes out of your own self-interest and in your own projects and workflows that you have.
Also, just one thing about Obsidian. Try to make one folder an area in your life or something, right? Because otherwise you'll just have a lot of vaults and or a lot of vaults or folders. So it's just better kind of have like a knowledge graph approach. And there is also a learning system or something. I'll probably try and find a
Yeah.
video of it. So
Yeah,
that
and
because
that's a good
initially to
example,
learn
right? Yeah.
really, really better.
Yeah, so that's a good example, right? So you can go down the rabbit hole of Markdown and Obsidian, and from a simple Markdown, suddenly you've got Kanban boards and you've got a learning system, you've got knowledge graphs, so many deep things you can have from it, just from a simple tool like Markdown. So it really just depends on how deep you want to go with something. We will not teach you all those deep things, right? We are just showing you, hey, this is a tool. It can be used for these things. And now it's up to you to find the inspiration to go forward with it and use it in your daily life.
Sir, I have a doubt, just a small one. Can I ask?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I'm a non-IT background student. I've done masters in mathematics. So, is it possible? Is it okay that I'll do data diploma in data science only and get and find an opportunity in IT sector?
That's a difficult question for me to answer specifically. It's always possible, but I can't really answer to the specifics of what you've asked. Because it really depends on where you're working, what the company requires. There are a lot of things involved with it,
Okay.
right? So,
So, sir, it is always good to take diploma in programming as well with the diploma in data science.
I would say programming skills these days are very valuable in many fields because if you look at just to give you a very simple example, right? So if you go to the chemistry department here, okay, and on campus, I was surprised they were hiring data scientists, okay, and I was thinking, why are they hiring data science for chemistry? I mean, just out of curiosity. And I heard they were working on they wanted someone who was skilled at using LLM agents. And I'm thinking, why does chemistry department need LLM agent coders? Okay, or people who are knowledgeable with data science and LLM agents. And then I find out it's because they want to make all their course material available in Swahili for the Tanzania campus. So that's an example, right? It seems completely disconnected and not related to each other. But when you have some programming skills, you're able to then easily transfer information from one point to another, and that's what data science is about, right? So having some coding skills will definitely get you ahead of the game, because otherwise your data, you may have a nice beautiful model and you may have all the beautiful mathematics behind it, but if you can't deliver the data in a form that someone can use, then it just sits on a system somewhere, right, without being useful. So that's what this course is kind of about, or this diploma in data science. So, and tools for data science is I think a very crucial linchpin of that, of how to get you from the theory to the real world.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Diploma in data science also have some skills in programming. So, it is just additional to diploma in programming that it will add some more skills in programming as well in data science.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, they work well together. So that's why you got the 2-track diploma, which is the diploma in programming and the diploma in data science. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I think we can wind up the session then today. Tomorrow we will have a session scheduled for 8 to 10. And we will try and see if we can organize what content will be covered in these various sessions, so that you have a better idea of what skill level we are targeting with these sessions. And if you can't attend them also, they will be recorded, all the sessions for this term. We will try to bookmark them with chapters, so that you can quickly access the content that is relevant to you. So these are some new things we're going to try. We may not always get it correct, but we're going to try and deliver for you on these fronts. Okay.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, will the sessions which will be like, as you said, bookmarked and will be newly added, sir, will they be updated to the Google Calendar for the course?
So there is a playlist on the Google Calendar. At the moment, it's empty, obviously, because this is the first session for Jan term on the calendar. So they will be put in that playlist, and you can access that playlist. What I would say is bookmark the TDS channel as well. That will help you find the playlist. But you should be able to access. So the video itself, you may not get access directly from the calendar. We get this question every term. They will see a link and it will show the video. That we do not share. Okay, you will actually be able to see the video only through YouTube, through the YouTube channel. That's the only way to access the video. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Since you're on campus, can you kind of make a request to the faculty of the programming part, like the diploma in programming, that at least we should have something similar to TDS in the programming component, in which we are also introduced data providers instead of just the local data which we're using with SQLite, and probably connect with PostgreSQL or something, and also do that data provider thing. So that we can
What I would suggest is, if you actually put a discourse on and tag some of the people who run the program, that will be probably a good way to
Usually
raise the issue.
I've already finished it, but yeah, I'll probably put it on discourse.
Okay, so we are way past our normal schedule. So thank you, folks. We'll meet again tomorrow, and Jivraj will be handling tomorrow's session. I'll be in attendance as well, and there will also be Saransh, who will also be joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Okay, and we look forward to being able to do great things in this course. Okay. All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.